So I finished the last two chapters of Carlo Rovelli's book, The Order of Time. And in the final part of his book, he's, after destroying space and time, he's reassembling them by explaining how it is that our human perspective is in fact generating them. So space and time is a generation, an emergent product of our human perspective, right? And his last few chapters are beautiful and lyrical, and he's engaging with some of the deepest religious and theological and philosophical thinkers of history. Not Aquinas actually, but St. Augustine and Martin Heidegger and Edmund Husserl and others, Parmenides, Heraclitus. And he's trying to, say a bit about life and death and the meaning of our human existence here on this planet. He says ultimately what we have are memories and anticipations, and that our soul life is the tension between memory and anticipation, and that our sense of individual self is in fact a gift from the others that we come into relationship with, right? First of all, our mother, our parents, our families, our communities, our friends, our societies. We form our sense of identity as individuals only in relationship to others, that is, by internalizing what others tell us about ourselves. This is Rovelli's view, right? And I actually quite agree with him. There's not much I disagree with Rovelli about, actually. I really enjoyed his book. I think all I would want to add would be that we don't need to say that human consciousness is somehow merely derivative from the physical cosmos, that logos is merely an effect of a physical cause. Because at the end of the day, Rovelli can't really say that, right? Because he's saying that the ultimate nature of reality is this mathematical structure. The ultimate nature of physical reality is this mathematical structure that he says he's humble about it, but he thinks loop quantum gravity might have captured this fundamental nature of physical reality. It's a mathematical formalism, right? So ultimately he's saying that the physical comes in the form of the logical or the mathematical, right? So that physis and logos are in some sense co-constitutive, co-emergent. Because, as I was saying in my last video, sharing some initial reflections about Rovelli's book, I think, to do metaphysics, it's what you do after you're done with physics, right? We're going to have to find a way to bring what we call mind and what we call matter back into just relations with one another. And by just relations, I just mean that they are each given their proper place, and that we don't, what is it about the modern mind that makes it so ready to, it's a double gesture, right, to reduce itself, I was going to say, but also to inflate itself. You know, there's quite a conceit in our modern, rejection of anthropomorphism and anthropomorphizing the universe. Because what we're saying is that, well, we can't project our sense of humanness onto the rest of the universe and say that somehow it's supposed to respond to our feelings and values and emotions. The universe doesn't care about us, right? That's the modern stance. It's heroic in that sense, right? Standing against a careless universe. Confidently standing against a careless universe, right? Trying to remake it in its own image. That's the modern stance, but at the same time that we courageously, center our own reason, our own technological power, our own scientific knowledge. At the same time that we center that, we claim to know with this scientific knowledge that we are just sophisticated machines. And so we erase ourselves at the same time that we try to center ourselves. And, Rovelli isn't really just repeating that same old modern story. He's doing something different. But he's not quite integral enough in the sense that he's giving both mind or consciousness and physics. He's not doing them equal justice. I think he's ultimately reducing mind to matter, and I don't think there's any reason to do that. Well, that's just my 2 cents, anyways.